Guys, thanks for joining us and welcome back. We've got another edition of The Prescription where we take one of our Patreon members, Diamond or Platinum, and we basically run through their bag and kind of try and address some of the topics, some of the issues that they're having, and maybe see if we can give a little bit of input and help.
Exactly. So you'll get emails specifically, usually about one club in the bag, looking to fit their driver, their irons.
That's right.
And you've been doing sort of the online experience that way. So we're featuring this week a little bit of a lower handicap player.
Yeah,
Six
good
handicap
player.
Ben.
Good player, good swing. Ben Russell from Winnipeg.
Yep.
So
Fellow Canadian.
Ben's been doing some work by the looks of things, doing some indoor work in his swing. So really good swing.
He's got a great swing, yeah.
Really good swing, lots of speed and
consistency,
lots of distance. So Ben's predicament was recently purchased a set of irons, used set of Mizuno MP18s.
These guys.
So a little combo set of split cavities and the muscle backs.
Right.
X100s in them. He's got them bent 2.5 degrees upright. So that's his iron set makeup. And then he has nothing between that and the Rogue Sub-Zero 3-wood.
Yeah, so basically Ben's main concern today, and we're going to talk about some other stuff because you had some interesting points about his driver shaft, but he wants to fill that gap with something. What's the club based on, speaking of clubs, what's the club based on his swing and delivery numbers that will make the most sense to fill between 4-iron and 3-wood?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, there's a sizable gap in there.
Yeah, big gap, right?
Yeah, I mean, and Ben, just to kind of fill in the blanks, carries 12 sort of long clubs, putters, so he's at 13 clubs right now. He has space for that other club, so
he's got one,
you know what Ben's kind of asking us here is, you know, what should he get? What should he plug that gap with?
Right.
Should he go 5-wood? Should he go long iron? Or should he never mentioned it in the numbers here, or hybrid?
Right.
Those are your three options: utility iron, 5-wood, hybrid. So let's kind of paint the picture a little bit of Ben's swing. We've looked at it. We looked at the numbers. Ben is, you know, as we said, efficient. With the speed, a little bit from the inside, hits a draw, kind of a little bit of early extension on the way through. We can definitely see a little bit of that in the swing, Ben, kind of causing the arms to exit quite high. When the arms exit quite high like that, you can get a little bit flippy and lose the face left. So those are kind of the tendencies, and it looks like you've got a bit of that, you know, in there, Ben. So looking at your 3-wood numbers specifically, when we were running through those, you get an awful lot out your 3-wood clearly.
He's hitting it far, isn't he?
Yeah, a long way. But the 3-wood numbers, Matty, are quite similar to a driver.
I was going to say that,
which is because Ben is quite shallow in his angle of attack.
Right.
So let's see if the delivery's on there. I don't think, no, the launch is flight. So basically, we're able to pick that up because the launch is high, the spin is low. So that straight away points to spin loft.
Right.
So Ben is kind of launching his fairway wood at an average of 13.1. There's a few 13, 14, 15s in there. So it's quite high in launch for fairway wood. Spinning it really quite low, an average of 2,300. That's very low.
Yeah, for a 3-wood, you'd be looking closer to 3,000.
You want to reverse those first two numbers, so about 3,200 would be
32.
nice.
Yep.
So about 900 shy of where we would really like it to be. So that's where we know Ben is quite shallow from that standpoint.
Right.
High launch, low spin.
Low spin.
So from that, Ben, you obviously create some freakish launch conditions that allow you to hit very far.
Yeah.
Great in the sense that nice to have a little extra firepower. Challenging in that quite hard to bridge the gap. You've got a 3-wood that flies 265 and you've got 4-iron that flies about 210.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you've got a pretty big 50-yard gap in there. Trying to plug that with a club is going to be a challenge. So a couple of things. We wouldn't mind seeing your 4-iron go a bit further for how much speed Ben has.
You'd mentioned that, yeah.
So we wouldn't mind if that 4-iron sort of snuck out to maybe 215, 218. That would make life easier getting the next club to about 240.
So would you recommend he bends the 4-iron a bit stronger?
That would be the first thing I would try to do. Yeah, a degree or so would be ideal, Matty. Yeah, maybe a degree and a half.
It's got a fair amount of spin on the 4-iron.
Yeah, not bad. And again, launching it at 17, plenty of launch. I mean, the peak height is up there just shy of 120 feet. So
plenty, yeah.
doing everything he can to kind of get plenty of height and flight. So I wouldn't say that would be the worst idea.
That's a good idea.
Nudging that down. So that leaves us with the club in which is going to fit that gap you've got the best, Ben. So for me, 5-wood would be ruled out because of the high launch property, shallow head, wide body, very easy to launch the ball up in there. Not ideal. Ben already does enough of that.
Yes.
So I would like to see Ben focused more on a utility iron.
Okay.
Something like the sort of MP Fly High like we've got
dropped?
there. Yeah. Yep. That would be fine. 18 degrees, Ben, would be where I would see sort of from a loft perspective.
Would match this iron set awfully nicely.
Yep. So 4-iron, I'd like to see maybe if you squeeze that down to about 21.5 on the 4-iron.
Yep.
5-iron about 25, 6-iron about 29-ish, and then you can sort of gap from there. So about 18 or so on this utility
iron.
You're
blending the irons into this utility iron.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think this utility iron, specifically the Mizuno one, it matches really nicely with Ben's set.
It does.
It looks really, really sharp. It's got nice clean lines. It's not overly big.
It looks exactly like the rest of the set,
it
doesn't
does.
it?
They've done a really good job. And Mizuno do a great job of blending their sets. I mean, you can easily play a 919 forged and a 919 tour. You can easily play an 818 MMC split cavity and blade. That's no problem to blend those in fairly comfortably.
Gotcha.
So that would be a choice, Ben. The other one would be potentially into hybrid. Now, if for whatever reason you didn't quite have enough speed with the utility iron, that's why we might want to look at hybrid. But in your case, we want to look at a hybrid that actually performs a bit like an iron.
Right.
Because
you're not looking at a wide-bodied.
Not looking at a wide body, looking at shallow body, CG forward, taller face. Both of those things will help bring that flight down a little bit and control the flight conditions.
Gotcha.
But have a little bit more ability to create some speed.
So M3 would be probably your number one choice?
M3, G400 were the two that sprung to mind. M3 because it's the shallowest body, maybe even 818 H2.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be a nice one for Ben as well, Titleist 818. So those would be really good. G400 is also a favourite. But I think with Ben's conditions, I wouldn't mind seeing M3 and 818 specifically because we have the adjustable sleeve, we have some lie angle adjustments we can make, we have some weighting on M3 specifically, those types of things.
So you can make those high, because he plays his irons upright.
Yep.
A hybrid that can play upright would be ideal because it would blend well into the set.
Yeah,
and obviously,
very probable that would be the case.
Obviously, this you can bend upright as well.
No problem. So nice and soft, nice forged body.
This is a question I don't think I've ever asked you. If you think he said he was 2.5 upright.
Yeah.
When you get to the driving iron, are you matching the lie angle exactly, or what's the general rule? Does it often get a little bit flatter, or do you keep that same relationship?
So with Ben's swing, when I initially saw the extension, the pelvic extension, sort of standing up on it a little bit, I go, okay, that makes sense. That's why you've got your irons a little more upright. You're a bit of a handle raiser.
Yep.
But the other part of it is as well, just to be curious with Ben to see if he has the odd one that's kind of overdrawn to the left.
Going left.
So
okay.
That's the management of face angle through lie angle, and being able to control the trajectory in that. It's not the worst thing in the world to be slightly toe down if that manages your ball flight.
Okay.
The objective is not a perfectly symmetrical divot.
Exactly.
We talk about that sometimes. Like sometimes a toe deep divot produces a perfectly straight shot. That's not a problem as long as you're getting that good solid ball first contact. As long as the sweet spot isn't being tilted upward either by the toe being down or being up. So there's a lot of things to consider.
For sure. So if he's going to go and obviously this goes without saying, demo these and hopefully get fit for something in this range. Yeah. This is kind of the short list. Ideally on something like GC Quad or TrackMan where he can see the dynamic lie and see how that's changing. That
would be ideal. I mean, we've got a kind of little test coming up very soon where we're going to actually take a lie board and show you guys the difference between if someone fit you blind on a lie board, what your ball flight might end up doing. So we'll turn the screen off, we'll do a lie board test, we'll get Matt perfectly out the middle of his club, then we'll turn the screen back on, we'll hit it, we'll see what your ball does.
The ball goes,
right? So, and then we'll try and maybe expose some of the flaws in that method of testing lie angle. So we're going to do that. So yeah, try and get on that, somewhere where you can see ball flight and measurement of dynamic lie angle.
Dynamic lie angle.
Yeah, that would be the ideal combination.
So that pretty much sums up what you'd recommend for that gapping.
Yep.
You mentioned the driver shaft that he's playing, maybe not exactly what you would have recommended for him.
Yeah, interesting one, Ben. I mean, sometimes these shafts do change in characteristics a little bit. So you've got the Matrix White Tie 7X3, a little bit of a softer flight, but you have you're playing it in a stiffer, heavier profile. Sometimes these shafts change their characteristics a little bit. For me, that shaft is a little bit more suited towards a fairway wood.
Oh, okay.
Or somebody who needs to sort of get high launch, low spin. To me, it looks like through your swing, naturally you hit up on it enough that you probably create enough launch. So I'd be curious to see if you get a chance, send us some.
I was going to say, follow
love to see Ben send us some driver numbers, and we can see if that is as sort of optimal and efficient as it could be.
Very cool.
Other things that sort of stick out in there, Vokey 5054, that looks good. Other than that.
It's a good set of clubs. It just needs that. It just really needs that club to probably on shorter par 4s and into the green on par 5s.
I'd like to certainly have a little look at some shafts for Ben. And,
sure. Yeah.
On our sort of wall of offerings, I would say, Ben, maybe trying something like Graphite Design DI would be quite nice. Nice sort of stronger profile. It's around 195 grams probably would be ideal. Somewhere in that region.
Can he play that in the driving iron as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so either or.
A la Jordan Spieth.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. So Tennessee 100. You've got Tours the Extreme by Accra comes in the 95 gram option at X-Flex. Yep. So lots of different options.
That's the Tennessee White.
That's the Tennessee White right there, which is a real favourite of ours for the stronger players, the guys who are really kind of heavy loaders.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there's plenty of options. If you're looking for a shaft recommendation, happy to provide that as well, Ben. So
awesome. Yeah, this is great. Kind of an interesting little spot. I think a lot of people. I went through this exact same process with you because I think I did stop at the 4-iron at the time, and then I had a 3-wood. I had nothing in between. That's right. So it made a lot of difference to me to have something confidence that I could hit off, shorter holes and into par 5s and stuff. So
everyone's got, I think, that trouble area in their bag. Yeah. Whether it's a pitching wedge that goes proportionally further than a gap wedge or a rogue iron in the set. There's always somewhere in the set that a player will go, hey, I'm struggling to kind of blend that in nicely, and it makes sense with your launch conditions, Ben, being shallower in the strike and having as much speed as you do, that became a bit of a gap for you. That 230, 240 spot is a real tricky area for you right now. You don't have a natural club in your bag for that yardage, so hopefully this is going to help Ben with that.
Awesome.
Good
stuff.
Excellent. Well, Ben, we can't leave this without saying thanks so much for being one of our patrons. It really does mean a lot to us that you support us. Your email was overly kind, and
for sure.
We do really appreciate your support. It means an awful lot to us, and this is a tiny bit of something we can do to give back. So
absolutely,
we really do appreciate it.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, guys, appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.